What I really, really love about this fragrance is at first spray, when you actually spray this, you're getting a wonderful concoction of a peach note. And the peach note is blended really, really well with the different spices in the fragrance. There's some citrus in there, there's some cloves in there, there's some ginger in there, but none of them are predominant just like the peach note is. The peach note, I think, is the highlight. Now, when I say dominant, I don't necessarily mean you're getting a blast of peach. This, to me, is a very zen-like peach, meaning that it feels very reminiscent of a tea-like fragrance, a mate-like fragrance. And not saying that it is a tea fragrance, but that's the vibe that I get. It's very warm, it's very comforting. The spice does not overextend itself. It actually helps the peach note find its own voice, unlike Triumph of Bacchus, where it is very fruity, peach dominant mixed with a rum accord. This is more of a hum, zen-like tea style, especially in the opening, mixed in with some of the florals that you'll notice, like a tuberose, a little greenness of a rose, jasmine. I think all of these kind of help give the peach depth, more backbone, and bring a tea-like feel to it. Is it overly floral? No, not at all. Is it overly spicy? No, not at all. At all. Again, I'm really getting a warm peach tea. And what I mean by that is, picture you've had a steeped peach tea chilling in the background and the aroma coming out of it as it warms down, as it cools down, you know, leaving it a little bit warm, palatable, where you're not scorching your mouth. That's kind of what this fragrance feels like. It's just comforting. It's very zen-like. Now, what I love about the scent development of this fragrance is you get 3 different stages. What does that mean? The opening will be peach dominant, where you'll get that tea-like feel. The mid is my favorite part of the fragrance. And as much as I love the first part, which I really do, the mid is, to me, is which gave me the wow factor. And what comes in the mid is a beautiful cinnamon bark note. Now, cinnamon being separate, bark being separate. What does that mean? What does bark smell like? Great question, my aficionados. What the bark really resonates for me is a tobacco-like feel, very toasty. Not tobacco-y in the sense of like a tobacco fragrance, but very toasty. But I do get reminiscence of a tobacco-like feel, because later in the dry down, you have beautiful sweetness, like a balsamic type of sweetness. You got, you know, your ambers, you got your vanilla, you got your tonka beans, and much more. But what this bark does to the fragrance is really enhance it. And while keeping the aesthetics of the peach, right, that nice zenfulness of the peach, you get this playful, barky tobacco that really enhances the fragrance, but has that traditional Argos signature smoothness to it. That's friggin' awesome. Really awesome. When I first sprayed this and I was in my car, windows down, driving, I was very encapsulated by the peach note, to the sense that I was just like, oh, okay, I really don't know if this differentiates itself from a lot of other fragrances, to the extent that I would be like, oh yeah, no, I should day one buy this. But when that bark and cinnamon came in and it kind of gave it that appearance of a tobacco, I was like, yo, is there tobacco in this fragrance? And if not, what is doing this? And it was the bark. It was very, very different and very, very fun. It really, it blew my mind. I thought it was wonderful. Now, accompanied with the other floral notes, if you do see the note breakdown, I don't think the note breakdown necessarily does it justice, but the florals are there, again, for backbone purposes. You're not going to get a hint of, oh my god, this is rose or white floral dominant or violet dominant. You're not going to get that. In my opinion, again, you get a wonderful tobacco-y, barky type of feel, a toasty type of feel, because later in the dry down, you have the signature sandalwood that Argos is kind of known for. It's beautifully creamy, beautifully smooth, nice and woody, then mixed in with, you know, the rest of the sweetness that we touched upon, like amber, vanilla, tonka, you know, some of that balsamic type of feel to it, you know, some spices from the clove kind of kicking in. It has that depth. I think it's just so well balanced, because when you talk about the end phase, the third phase of the fragrance, that's where I think Sacred Flame really kind of shines in its personal bubble. sacred flame to me, meaning that, you know, it's kind of sacred, it's intimate, you know, I'm with who I'm, you know, my significant other, we're cozied up. This is where they're going to enjoy the fragrance a lot, because it switches more so from a kind of like tea, like fruity, like tobacco, like fragrance to a more gourmandy type of fragrance, but not overly gourmand. It's very mature, it's very smooth, it's very luxurious and very close to your personal bubble, that if you're intimate in an intimate circle, that's a lot to enjoy. It's very one with you, as opposed to it feeling like a fragrance or a perfume. It feels very like you. You know what I'm saying? So what I get with the dry down is I get a wonderful gourmand type of feel, again with the sweetnesses kind of mellowing down the fragrance and really kind of feeling like a toasty, sweet type of approach, skin scent type of approach, which kind of feels a little bit more than skin scent, right? So in my opinion, I think this is a wonderful, wonderful scent profile. Like Triumph of Bacchus, how people say that that is a tobacco fragrance, I just don't personally see it. I think it's more of a fruity rum type of fragrance with a little bit of a dry down of tobacco. This one to me feels more of a tobacco fragrance without it even having tobacco in it. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And then the different phases that it gives you is something that a lot of fragrances lack. It's not linear whatsoever. There's so many development opportunities with this fragrance for you to enjoy. So in my opinion, we're giving the scent profile a 22 out of 25 on the scoring.